The core problem with all AI support agents today is that they're stateless, so they forget. But in this video, I'm going to show you how to build an AI customer support agent that remembers conversations between different sessions, that it actually gets smarter over time. This agent will also read your documents to have your company's information. Let's jump right in. So this is the end result of what we are about to build, and I'm going to start completely from scratch in this video. So what we have here is we're using a tool called backboard.io, which is wildly renowned as the world's smartest AI memory. And so we are using their memory stack in order to train our customer support agent, and I will show you how this works end to end in this video. So this customer support agent is for a Los Angeles commercial real estate broker, and it's trained on these two documents that we've given it. So this is information about our business. So in this case, it is for an LA commercial real estate broker that has commercial real estate absorption trends and projections, as well as emerging trends and recent news as of March of this year. And so this is trained on that unique piece of information, and it saves that information within a specific thread in backboard.io. And now let's go ahead and test this agent to see how it works. So we asked the question, what can you tell me about LA commercial real estate? And it says the LA commercial real estate is in a period of significant transition, shaped by post-pandemic work patterns. So we see that there's some sectors that are impacted: the office sector, industrial sector, retail, multifamily, cross-sector, and market outlook. So it's trained, it's giving that information based on the information from these two documents. And so we can ask more detailed questions, and it can remember what questions we asked, and it can use that to inform its future responses. Okay, so I've opened up a brand new n8n workflow page, but the first thing we're going to need is to actually go into backboard.io, which is our tool that we're going to be using for this AI agent, primarily because of its memory feature. Once we sign up and create an account, the first thing we want to do, if this is a new account, is get our API key. So we have an API key, we can click create new key. In this case, mine already exists, so it just has this key here. We create that API key, and we're going to want to save it and use it later when we build our n8n workflow. So let's say you got that. Now we go into our API documentation, and we have this list of functions that we can use. And so I'll walk through which functions we're going to use, and I'll set this up with you step by step. So now that we have our backboard API key and we've looked at this documentation for a sec, let's go ahead and come into n8n, and let's start by creating a trigger. The first thing we need is a manual trigger. We need a manual trigger because we're going to want to set up our assistant in our thread in backboard.io. So this is our manual trigger. When you click execute workflow, it runs. In this case, it doesn't do anything. It just says output is empty. Cool. Now we're going to want to call backboard.io, and we're going to want to create an assistant. So an assistant is here within the quick start menu. So when you go to welcome.backboard.io, let me close these other things, and you see quick start, that's where you're going to see create an assistant. So this is the documentation on how to do that, and I'm going to set this up with you now. So we have this post request with the base URL -assistance that we're going to use. And then we have the headers. This is the name of the header, and this is the value of the header. So let's go ahead and come into n8n, and we are going to use the HTTP request module. We're going to click post. We're going to look at the URL. So what is the URL? This is the base URL, and then we're going to say -assistance. That is the base URL -assistance. Great, so that is our URL. We're going to send a header. We know that already. We have x-api-key. Again, that is what is specified right here. And then we want to paste in our API key. And so what I'm going to do is bring over my API key in just a second. And now we want to pass in the following JSON body. We want to pass in the name of our agent and then a description of our agent. So when we click send body, we have this JSON body. And so we have a name, and then we can call it support bot. Let's call it support agent. I don't like the name bot. Let's do that. Name and then description. So what does this do? Answer questions about LA commercial real estate. And that's just in my case. You should name this whatever the goal of your support agent is. And so we're going to click execute request. Fantastic. We've gotten this response, so we know it's working. That's all you have to do to set up this request to create an assistant. Now, I highly recommend when you're using n8n to name all of your modules so that they make sense to you. In this case, what we're doing here is we're creating an assistant. We're not just running any old HTTP request. We're creating an assistant. So that's what we've done here. I'm going to name it that so that we are aware of what this does. Great. Okay, so we've created an assistant. Now what do we need? An assistant isn't just valuable on its own. An assistant needs a thread. So we're going to create a thread. So we're going to follow this next step for an API call to run a post request, to have the following inputs: no body needed, or an empty body, and then just have the standard header that we have here. So that's how I'm reading this API documentation. As you can see, this is the URL -assistants-assistant ID -threads. So let's start with that. Let's create a brand new HTTP request. Let's just name this initially, saying the goal here is to create a thread. So again, that is a post request. What is our URL? Let's do some copying and pasting, bring over that URL, and then -assistant, API -assistants-assistant ID. So this assistant ID is a variable field, right? Your assistant ID will look different than my assistant ID. So what we do here is we drag the assistant ID here, just like that. Make sure this is an expression, not a fixed value, so that it can take variable inputs like this assistant ID. Let's remove that quotation. We don't want that there. Now we know that this URL is correct, and it dynamically updates based on whatever the assistant ID is in that run. Again, we're going to pass in the same header. We're going to pass in this API key, and we're going to click send body, but we're not going to pass anything in there. It's going to be empty. So let's go ahead and click run. Fantastic. We've created a thread. We have a thread ID, and we're not passing in any message because we're not sending in a message right now. Great. So we've created an assistant, and we've created a thread that's associated with that assistant. Really quickly, I want to explain what that thread is. So a thread is what allows you to have context across multiple messages so that the AI actually remembers. So the memory feature in backboard.io is threads, right? So when we create a thread, when we add a message to a thread, all of that gets saved to a particular place in memory. And I'll show you at the end of this video what that memory looks like. But the thread is the pathway in which you store memory. So we have our assistant and we have a thread that's associated with that assistant. Now, what do we want to do with this memory? Well, we want to fill that memory with documents that are specific to our business. In my case, it's going to be these two documents. If you have any standard operating procedures for your business or any other information that you have that you want to train the support agent on, and you have documentation of that, this is where you pull that out and get ready to use it. So we have our create thread, then we're going to open up. In my case, I have this available in Google Docs. So if you have Google Docs, that's great. You can follow along with these exact steps. So let's go ahead and type in Google Drive. So we have Google Drive here, and we have a specific action to download a file. Now, first thing, you do want to create a credential with your Google account. And so this requires you clicking Open Docs and walking through these steps with your Google Cloud Console. Essentially what this is doing, I'll just explain this, but I'd recommend you going to the docs to actually walk through step by step how to create this connection. What you're doing is you're giving your n8n workspace access to specific Google spaces that you've created. So in this case, Google Docs, I need to explicitly grant n8n access to Google Docs to do specific things like read, write, update, etc. And that's true for all Google services. So for any Google service, you have to do this process, and you have to manually select which permissions you want to give to n8n. And that's honestly for your security purposes. So this is good that they have this the way that they do. I've already gone through these steps, and that's not the core purpose of this video, so I'll leave this out, but I would recommend you select that documentation when you want to learn about this. You've connected your Google Drive account. Great. We are looking for a resource that is a file. We are looking to download that file. Why are we looking to download that file? Well, in order to upload the content of this file into memory, we download it into a binary format. A binary format is the format in which AI can understand our information. So AI reads our information as binary, and it stores it in what we call a vector database. So that is how we are going to build out this workflow, is we are going to take this file and download it as a binary file. So that's just the context of what's actually happening. There's a few ways you can do this. I select by URL in this dropdown, and then I just copy the URL of my Google Doc, paste it there, and then I'm going to click execute step. Awesome. So I just clicked execute step, and I got this output, which is in binary. You can see here, it specifies what format this is in. So this is binary. So what it's done is it's taken this file right here and it's downloaded it in binary format, and it's called it data. So that's great. We have this file. Now, what do we need to do with that file? We need to upload that file to our assistant. How do we upload this document to our assistant to actually save it in memory? Well, we have this function right here within Backboard's API call. If you just scroll under assistant in the dropdown, you'll see upload document to assistant, and you see this information here, which is exactly what we're going to need to build this out. So first thing we have our base URL, and then what's attached to our URL. The request is a post request. It's -API, a numeric string. Okay, so we're going to copy that. we're going to open up a brand new HTTP request. What are we going to call this? We're going to name this right away, upload file to assistant. Great. This is a post request. Remember post request. And now we're going to paste this in, except we're going to need the base URL. So let's go back, grab the base URL from somewhere else, grab this. Perfect. So paste the base URL. Sorry, /API/assistance /API-assistance -alpha. So this actually needs to not be alphanumeric string. It needs to be the assistant ID. Sorry. We're uploading this directly to a particular assistant. So we need to give it our actual assistant ID. We need to specify that in the URL so that it knows where to pass it to. And then we just have dash documents. That is the whole URL for us. So that's great. We're going to send headers here. And we're going to check which headers we need to send. We need to send two different headers. So we need to send X API key and we need to send content type as multi-part form. So let's copy this just so I don't have to write that out. And then we'll paste in our API key. And it looks like the JSON payload is just an empty string. And then we have in the body, we have a file that is just used to pass in our binary data. So send body. We're just going to say file. That's the name of the parameter that we're passing. And then we're just going to leave this as data. We're just going to call this data because that is the name of this output. The output here is called data. So that's what we're going to do. So n8n is a bit weird about dragging binary files and using them as variables as inputs for the next thing. It doesn't seem to like that. And so what you have to do is you just have to match the name of the output of the previous step to this original step. And you want to make sure that this module, upload file to assistant, is right after the download file. I've spent a lot of time messing around with this and realizing that you cannot just add a different action that you want to take and then add upload file. You can't utilize the output of this in the same way you utilize the output of the other modules because it's binary format maybe. You're not able to have other modules in between that step. So you downloaded this file in that previous module, you have to use it right away. So that's why we have this step here. And so we're executing the file. And so we see actually that we have our invalid request. And so what I realized is that we actually cannot pass a JSON payload here. We're actually passing a binary file. The reason is that we have this input as a binary file. This is the field name of our binary file. So I see that it's not actually n8n binary file. It's actually form data is the type that we need here as we specified multi-part form data. Okay, so we have the body content type as that. Now the field name, we're going to come back here and say, okay, the field name is file. That's great. And what is the value of that? It's this file called data. So let's run that. And we see that the issue here is we need to specify that this is a binary file. So we have form.data is the content type. We have a binary file within this specific parameter. The name of that parameter is file. And then we have the data field name, which is data. Great. Awesome, that worked. Now we know that it captured that file and it uploaded that file's contents to the assistant as part of the assistant's memory. So we have upload file to assistant. That worked great. Now in my case, I'm just going to copy and paste this step and duplicate it because what we're going to want to do is do the exact same thing again. We are going to want to copy this particular file and bring that into our assistant. So we have download, let's call it download file 2. And we're going to change the URL so that it downloads this new file. Same idea here, commercial real estate market report, right? This is a market report. These are absorption trends, so they are different. Great, so we know that it downloaded file 2. Now let's upload file 2. Let's call it file 2 to assistant. Now we don't need to do anything different here. This is already set up for us to work well. Great. Now we've uploaded the market report. So we've uploaded 2 different files to our assistant. So now our assistant is trained, right? We've built an assistant, we've created a thread, we've trained that assistant with 2 different files that we have about our business. Now, that's essentially it. Now, that's really the legwork of what we need to do here. Our AI agent is built, it is ready to go, it's trained. Now, the only thing we need to do is run this within a chat message. So now we can actually start to use this agent. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say trigger, and we're going to use a chat trigger. We're going to say test chat. We're going to say hi. Great. Okay, so we have a chat. Where is that here? We're going to bring that over. When chat message received, what do we want to do when we chat? So this chat right here is just the inline chat message within n8n. So what do we do when chat message is received? We message the assistant that we just created, right? So how do we call that? Well, you guessed it, we use an HTTP request, which then calls the AI agent from backboard. We're just going to call this module send message to assistant. And so this function, we're actually going to use this particular backboard function here, which is to add message to a particular thread. So if you remember, we created this thread. Now we need to use that thread over here when we send a chat message. And so the way that we do that, we look at this API call. We say, okay, what is this URL? We save this, copy, paste this. Let's bring this over. So we see it's API-threads. Let's just paste the base URL, app.backboard.io. And then we have this as likely, which is likely our thread ID. We need to fill this up with our actual thread ID, right? So when we execute this step, this thread ID is what we need to use. So we have that. We've pasted in our thread ID. So we have this here. Now, what we've done here, just really quick, we've run this workflow one time to train our agent. Then all we need to do is copy the thread ID here. And now this can run infinitely. Anytime you message this chat, this assistant saves the memory to that thread, and it uses the existing memory that we've already trained it with these two documents. And this chat window, I'm just using n8n as a very, very simple example. You can set this up on your website as a chatbot. You can set this up to respond to your DMs, to your Slack messages, to your Telegram messages, to your Discord channels, to your emails, to your text, like anything. You can set this up anywhere you'd like. Anywhere there's a chat, you can put this there. And in future videos, I can show you how to do that. But very simply, we run this workflow once. This workflow will run infinitely, right? Anytime we have a chat, now that agent is trained. So we're good. So we've sent a message to that assistant. Let's go ahead and finish up this setup. So we've got the URL. We believe it's a post request, right? It is a post request with these particular parameters and these parameters to pass in the body. So our path parameter is already there. We have our thread ID, and now we can pass in different messages. So first we want to add these two things. We want to add the content type, and then the content type is multi-part form data. We want to pass X, the API key. So we can add all of these different parameters. We can call different models if we like. Regardless of the model we choose, it is still calling our assistant, right? And it's still using the memory that we've trained it on. So what we really need here is content, and then we need the chat message. So I said hi as a chat input just to test out the chat input. But what I need to do here is pass in that input as the content, which gets sent to our AI agent. So this is our content. We're saying hi. Now let's go ahead and try to run this. So it's saying the resource you're requesting could not be found. And I think that's because this needs to be a post request. Let's go ahead and try again. So the issue that we were just having here is that we need to switch this content type to form-data, because that's the content type that this API call allows for. And so now that we have form-data and not a binary file for this parameter, we can pass content as the name and then chat input as the message. So we can do that, click execute step. I just had to fix this URL and I added -threads here, which is needed according to this documentation. So I just missed this -threads. Once you add this URL as shown below and you have your, your specific thread ID for your AI assistant, then you are good to go and this should work properly. And it says, hello, how can I assist you with LA commercial real estate today? So it knows what it can do. It knows what data it's trained on. And so that is perfect. That is good to go. Now, the only thing we're going to do is we're going to send this back to the chat window. And what that is, it's respond to chat. And so we're going to pass in the output content of our AI assistant, and we're just going to respond back to the chat. Oh, it said response mode in the chat trigger must be sent to respond nodes. And so we're going to go here and we're going to click response mode, and the response is using the response nodes. So now that should work. Now if I say hi, it sends a message to the assistant and we see the response back in chat. Hello again, how can I assist you? So it knows that we just messaged it a second ago because it has all that memory stored up into its memory kind of bank, memory database. One quick thing you want to do here in the respond to chat module is to turn off wait for user reply. Because if you realize this actually didn't send to the respond to chat module. So let's go ahead and try this again and select input hi, send the message to the AI assistant, and now it actually outputs past this respond to chat module. Great. So now this works as intended. Otherwise, the workflow would say stuck right here, so you wouldn't be able to send another message. So you want to make sure that that is triggered off, so we're not waiting for anything. We can allow the AI to respond back to the user. So with that, that is the entire setup of how you set up a customer support bot using long-term memory, using backboard.io and n8n. So hopefully that was helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I will see you all in the next one.